everybody, it's Derek with The Ultimate Hang, and I'm so excited today. I'm going out on a trip. Today we're going to beautiful Snow Canyon.
I was not expecting this to happen. The rain was not supposed to come until tomorrow. Let's talk about the S240. A sub 24-hour trip is all about getting out quick and getting back before everybody gets up. I also brought with me this trip, I brought my ham radio, so I'm going to do a little bit of ham radio because this happens to be a Parks on the Air. If you ever heard of Parks on the Air activation, it's a lot of fun. But let me talk a little bit about the gear that I'm taking and kind of how I prep for this hike. For this trip, I thought I'd do something just kind of crazy. I am pulling gear from all over the place, and as I noticed, pretty much everything is from a different company. And again, this is not, there's no sponsorship here. I'm not being endorsed by anybody. So, but just so you guys know what kind of gear I've got for this quick trip. The underquilt is from Hammock Gear. This is the the Phoenix. We have the top quilt by Underground Quilts. The pillow here, this is just of my own making. It's more like a cheek pillow. It's kind of like a long neck pillow, but not a lot of support under the neck, which is fine. Got just a basic hammock from Eno. Thought I'd try that one out. The tarp is an ASIM from Hennessy. The straps are actually from One Wind. They're just simple, just long straps, no big deal. I've got my Diddy kit, my poop kit, because today we are packing it in and packing it out. We are going to be in a desert environment, so we got to be very careful about the environment today. My hiking shoes, change of clothes. I've got a wind shirt just in case, it's going to be a little bit windy, but not bad. This is really for backup. My balaclava for sleeping as well. Oh yeah, I think I've got a set of socks for sleeping in. And the backpack, really, that's pretty much it. For food, I've just pulled out of the pantry, probably some granola for breakfast and just a quick, I think, boil in a bag meal for dinner. So it's just super lightweight. Water, almost 2 liters, not quite 2 liters, but close. And then for my cook kit, just a basic, I think it's a minimalist it's a minimalist cook kit with the alcohol stove. So really basic. Now for extra today, we're going to be taking out my ham radio. So if you're a ham, well, we'll see if you can find me on the air. We're going to do a Parks on the Air activation, which would be a lot of fun. And trekking poles, which are also going to double as part of my antenna. In fact, honestly, the heaviest thing in the entire kit is my radio, and I could go a little bit lighter, but today I thought I would just be simple and this is kind of my go bag for most of the activations that I do. So this is it, really simple kit. Besides the radio, if I took the radio out, I'm hoping everything will be really under 15 pounds, maybe even lighter. We'll test that here in a minute. But definitely the radio is going to push us over the edge a little bit more, but I'm not really worried about this. All right, if this scale can be believed, you've got, oh my gosh, 20 pounds. Pretty much skin out weight with all the ham radio gear, almost 2 liters of water, all my food. So not too bad. I mean, I could shave off at least 10 pounds with some of the gear that I'm carrying, but hey, let's go after it. Right, so we made it past the wilderness boundary of the Red Mountain Trail. And one reason why I really love this trail is because it's one of the few places where there are a lot of trees. You can see I've got a lot of juniper, pinyon pine, shaggy bark juniper. They make great options for hanging hammocks. But we're gonna go a little bit further. We're going all the way to the edge of the canyon. I can't wait to show you because this is where the scenery just gets amazing. But it also means there's going to be limited places to hang hammocks. There's still going to be some of the pinyon pine, some juniper. So we'll have some options, but because it's going to be a more elevation and we're going to be on the south face, there's going to be a little bit less foliage. So you've got to just be prepared, wherever you're going to go. I've been here lots of times before, so I've done a lot of scouting around here, and really makes a difference. And when you're planning your trips, about what you're going to bring, what you can do, and whether or not hammock camping is an option. So for me, that makes a big difference because I can pack a little bit lighter and be a little more comfortable.
because as you've seen on this particular trail, it's pretty rocky, and sleeping on the ground just is not a very pleasant experience. All right, we're almost to the end. This is probably my least favorite part of the hike because, oh, hiking in the sand is no fun. But my goal, if you can see up here, that little peak up there, just down there, do you see those trees right there? That's my goal. All right, I made it. One of my favorite spots for doing some of these quick overnight trips. Let me show you the view that I've got. So this is Snow Canyon down here. It's this amazing marbled canyon, sandstone. When the sun sets and the sun rises, just the views are breathtaking. So I've got a pair of shaggy bark juniper here, and this is where I'm going to try to set up my hammocks. The weather in the distance looks a little threatening, but there shouldn't be any storms tonight. But I did bring a tarp just in case. The prevailing winds are in my favor. This side of the world is looking really beautiful. But I couldn't, wish for better weather. It is so beautiful. Calm, little light breezes, 70s. All right, let's get this set up. Well, I went ahead and set up my tarp just in case. This is an asymmetric tarp, so it's minimal coverage, pretty lightweight, but for what the conditions that I have got today, it's going to be plenty, more than enough, and lots of beautiful views. But I am starving, so I think it's time that we get cooking. All right, let's see what we got on the menu today. Well, today actually I think we've got teriyaki chicken and rice. Very exciting. But while we wait for that to kind of cook and simmer, let's go on a tour of the hammock. Talk about the gear and how we got this guy set up. So as I mentioned, I kind of just hodgepodged a bunch of gear together. So there's really nothing spectacular about this. And that's kind of one of the points I wanted to make about this trip is it's not so much about the gear as it is how you set it up, how you use it, and if it fits and is comfortable for you and it's suitable for the conditions, it's great, right? So as I mentioned in my gear, I've got my Hennessy ASIM tarp. What I really love about this one, and this is kind of the DX version because it has the ridgeline is actually sewn, and that makes a much tighter pitch for this particular type of tarp. If you just get your regular ASIM that's just one piece of fabric across the ridgeline, sometimes that can get a little saggy because the bias of the fabric tends to stretch that direction. But anyway, we got it set up in a kind of a porch mode with my trekking pole pitched off to some trees here, so that works really well. Got the underquilt, top quilt, everything's set up. I don't have to worry about bugs right now. In fact, actually in the Southwest, there's not a lot of bugs. So I know everyone's going to be complaining, but that kind of makes it a little easier in terms of the kind of gear that I need to take. I did attach the ridgeline to this Eno. Just makes the pitch a lot easier, especially when you've got a short hang like this and you're trying to estimate, how to hang it perfectly. That ridgeline is a lifesaver. And for insulation, should be pretty easy tonight. Down in the 40s, I'm not going to be worried about getting too cold. I like to bring, personally, a little bit warmer underquilt for the season than a top quilt. Like I can go with a 20, not 20. Oh my gosh, I'd be way too warm. This is a 40. I can go with like a 50, like just a summer bag on top. But I like to be a little warmer on the bottom. That's just my personal preference. My sleep clothes here that I'll change into, pair of warm socks. Very easy. And then this balaclava, I love to use these to just wrap my head in if it's not too cold. If it's really cold, of course, I'll bring a hood or something. But this is what I hike in as well as sleep in, which is really nice. And this is another love this tip that I have in my book about hanging your backpack off the ground using the hammock as kind of that pitch point. You can see I've got it covered underneath the tarp. If it does rain, it keeps my gear high and dry, which is nice. And I'm just using a little bit of a toggle. You can see the suspension is where I'm hanging it, but since I don't have a carabiner, don't need it, I'm just using a little twig through this suspension here, and it holds it nice and tight. Makes it really easy to, take gear in and out if I need to. I've got my Diddy kit, toothbrush, toothpaste, first aid, whatever I need is right there, nice and handy. I don't have to bend over or crawl into a tent. I can just hug and sit down and beautiful relax. So that's it. That's the gear. Should be really easy tonight. Looking forward to hanging out here at Snow Canyon. Now let's check on that food, huh? It started to rain. The winds shifted about an hour ago, and that dark plume of clouds that was over in the east has shifted and come right on top of me. But it's moving away. I mean, it's a very light sprinkle. It's a very fun little bit of rain, not enough to worry me. And of course, I'm glad I put the tarp up, more just for that psychological protection. I don't think I'm going to need it. We are expecting tomorrow around noon a nice rainstorm, thunderstorm even. I don't expect to be anywhere near here. We're going to be back home, like I said, early in the morning for breakfast. So very excited about that. But what was really interesting is I was setting up my antenna for my radio. I was putting that antenna up, and I could hear like a crackling sound or like a little bit of a buzzing sound that would oscillate as I would raise the antenna higher. That frequency would get a little bit higher and lower. It was so weird. I've never had that happen to me before. I'm going to take the safe route, and I'm not going to put my antenna up for a little bit. I want my family to know I'm trying to be very safe. I don't want to take on like a Benjamin Franklin experiment at the moment and shock myself. So we're going to wait on the ham radio for a little bit, relaxing in the hammock, enjoying the sunset. Yeah, this is like perfect weather. I can't imagine anything better, really. Just gotta wait for this storm to blow over so I don't get shocked. The sprinkles have come a little bit stronger now, so you can probably hear it. Even with a minimal tarp like this, it's plenty of protection. I can always, pull this down. This is kind of the fun part of hammock camping. What I'm hoping for is that these clouds will open up a little bit more so I can get an awesome sunset. Just my luck. I've been standing over on the ridge watching the storm, and of course it is blowing right over me. If you heard that, it's now turned into a thunderstorm. I may need to just hunker down and tuck my tail between my legs for a few minutes and see if this blows over. Wow, got lots of rain, tons of rain. The main part of the storm finally hit. We got hail even. So, wow, staying dry. And what's crazy is I was able to refill some of my water bottles with the rain runoff and off my tarp. That's pretty awesome. You can see I've battened down the hatches a little bit. I'm actually what you would call in a lightning defense mode. I was not expecting this to happen. The rain was not supposed to come until tomorrow. But I got my earplugs in, and I'm trying to keep my profile as low as possible and my contacts to the ground as minimal as possible. Because I had some lightning that struck super close to me, just a huge boom, and that was scary. It has been blowing rain, blowing hail, but I've been dry, and you can see my hammock is perfectly dry. Look at that beautiful sunset. The storm has passed. A glorious sunset is coming upon us on the overlook of Snow Canyon. We survived the storm. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me on this S240 to Snow Canyon. I'm sure I'm going to be doing it again with different hammock setup. We can talk about the gear and what worked. Today was an absolutely crazy experience because I actually got in the middle of a thunderstorm, which I was not anticipating or planning for, but thankfully I did bring my tarp. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you loved it, or even if you didn't love it, it would be great if you could subscribe and you can make fun of all the way that I say things. Let me know in the comments if there's something that you'd like to see as I take on other trips and go on other adventures. If you have any questions, let me know. But we're going to start doing some more illustrations on the channel. So stay tuned, guys. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Thanks for joining. See you later.